Very good morning, students. We'll continue uh, discussion of Java. Just I'll share the presentation. Today we are discussing very important topic of Java, that is data types, variables, and arrays. As you know, very important concept in Java. Java is a collection of libraries. That means whenever you are observing in Java, according to your requirement, you are having a package. If you wanted to do the interaction with the graphics, or if you wanted to interaction with the network, or if you wanted to do any utility, like that, it is a bundle of packages. That's why I always used to tell Java is not a program which you have to remember and reproduce that itself from your memory. No, it is not like that. It's a bundle of packages, libraries. And once you understand the concept and how to use that, you are free to use that according to your requirement. Here, there are various types of packages available. As I told, you will learn how to read and write at later stage because Java wants IO package for that. Okay, so IO is a package. Now in the advanced version, we are having a separate utility for that. That I will tell you later. Anyway, for time being, we are having IO package. If you want to interact with the IO devices, then IO. Then like that, utility. Utility is another package which is available, very popular. Like if you wanted to use time, if you wanted to use calendar, like that, various types of operation, this util package is needed. And net, if you wanted to do the networking, then Java facilitates java.net package. Like that, many particular packages are available. This is not to discuss various packages available in Java. Just I am telling Java is a collection of libraries and everything is inside the package itself. That means it is IO package or util package, net package, like that. If you are not using anything, like if you observe our previous two examples where we have written, is it not, two programs we have written, but we not used any package, is it not? Still, it also comes in one package that is called default package. If you not mention anything, it is with default package. And default package in Java is java.lang. Very important interview question. Java.lang is a default package. Means nowhere we will explicitly call this particular package. If you write the program default, that will be with Java lang. Lang is language package. Okay, the basic utility like system dot out. System is inside language package. String string is inside this particular package. Okay, so default package in Java. If somebody asks what is default package in Java, then you have to tell java.lang. Like that, we are also having default class. What is default class? That means everything is class in Java. Whatever you write, that will be inside the class itself. Okay, then the hierarchy will be there, is it not? Some particular class should be there as a base class for every program. So what is the default class? Default class name is class itself. Okay, so in the default class, it is named as object. Okay, so object is defined as default class which comes inside the class. So please remember, default class name is object. So everything is from this particular class. See, object itself a class. Okay, please remember, I'll trace and that is Java language is default package and object is default class in Java. With this, we'll start our discussion on our particular data types, because you know that every program will begin with data types. You are also maybe curious to know what are different data types available in Java. We'll move to that. Different data types. Data types means what? Whenever you wanted to use the information according to the requirement, it should have suitable data type. And Java is widely classified into two types, that is primitive and non-primitive. Primitive data types, non-primitive data types. For time being, don't worry about non-primitive, only worry about primitive data types, because Java is a strongly typed language. Strongly typed means what? There is a difference in int and capital I, small int. That means it is case sensitive. There is a difference. I already told this. There is a difference in main, MAIN, and MAIN. Both are different. It is not considered as same. Like that, if you write int, small int, is different from int. That's why when you are using the data type, okay, you will come to know how to differentiate. Now, we'll see the primitive types. Primitive means simple type. Simple data types what we are using in the language. First one is integers. Integers, and next floating point numbers, characters, boolean. This is what four important primitive types we are discussing. And here integer means what? Long, int, short, byte. See, for the variable length, we are having different integer type data. Data type is of various types: long, int, short, byte. Like that, if you consider floating point numbers, we are having double, we are having float. So two floating point numbers, double and short. Then characters. Character is cat, CHAR, cat. Then boolean. Boolean is a data type name. Boolean is a keyword. See, identify. Yes, the heading I mentioned, capital B O L E N. But when you are specifying that as a keyword, it is small, B O O L E A N. So we are having integers, floating point numbers, character, and boolean. Now, why so many different integer types? Long, int, short, byte. Because according to the requirement, it is having different length. Long is 64 bits. So 8-bit is 1 byte. Okay, you who is new to this particular concept, 8-bit is considered as 1 byte. For electronic students, it's not necessary to mention these things. 1 byte. 1 byte means 8 bits. Normally, depending on the architecture, different bits may considered as a byte. So generally, 8-bit is 1 byte. 64 means it is of size of that particular length. Okay, so it is of size 8-bit, 64 width, that is considered as. So 64 width means it is of type 8 byte. Okay, next integer. I don't want to use such a lengthy number. Okay, then you can go with the integer. By default, you are using integer. Integer is of 32-bit length. Its width is 32-bit. Short is of 16-bit. That means 2 byte. Integer is of 4 byte. Byte, we are also seeing the special data type, that is byte. It is of 8-bit. So Java is having this variable length integers, 8-bit, that is called byte, short, int, long. Now we'll move to floating point number, double and float. Double is of size 64-bit. Float is of size 32-bit. Please remember, if you use any floating point number, it is considered as by default double. Next, character. Char is of size 2 byte, that is 16-bit. Very important, you have to note this, because in Java, normally in all the languages, we are having character is of 1 byte, but in Java it is of 2 byte. That means it is with 16 bits, 16 bits and 2 byte. Character we are having 2 byte means what is the specialty? Because Java supports Unicode. Unicode means throughout the world, this program will execute. And when we are talking about many languages in the world, okay, it is having variable length. To include all these particular characters in the different languages, we set character is of type 2 bytes. So because please remember, if somebody asks why, what is the specialty of the character in Java? In Java, character is of 2 byte. And why 2 byte? Because it supports Unicode. Unicode means what? Irrespective of the language, it should support. So it should support all the languages can use it in different part of the world. So we set its length as 16 bit. Next, Boolean. Boolean means what? Boolean means true or false. Only these two it will consider. Identify true, T small letter, S small letter, true or false. Only these two values are considered in Boolean. So this is about the data types in Java. In detail about this, we'll observe with the Java literals. We'll close look at these literals. So Java is of variable, different types of data, and integer, floating point number, character, and Boolean, like that we identified. Now we'll discuss more detail about this integer literals itself. See, normally integer literals, how to use. And normally integer means different types of integer, is it not? You are already using that binary digits, decimal, and octal with the base 8, hexadecimal, like the different types of numbers are there, is it not? So how to use this in Java? I told that it is integer, is of type short, byte, long, int. Okay, that's fine. But how to represent this? Binary, decimal, octal, hexadecimal, like that. See, the example, binary number, you can define that as a int itself. And binary number means it should start with 0b, okay, followed by 1 or 0. Binary means 1 or 0, number with 1 or 0. And how to represent that? It is represented with starting with 0b. Next, decimal, normal number what you are specifying, that is considered as decimal. Will come to octal. Octal, base 8, that means the numbers from 0 to 7. Please remember, when you are giving octal number, it should start with 0. See, binary also starts with 0, but after 0 it is B. But in octal number, it starts with only 0. That means 02 is a valid octal number. 07 is valid octal number. If I give 09, compiler will generate an error because it is not considered as octal number. And normal number means you have to type 9, not 09. Is it clear? Okay. Now, when you are considering octal number, it should start with 0. That is what information here. Next, hexadecimal. How to identify hexadecimal? Hexadecimal means it should start with 0x, 0 small x, or 0 capital X. Both are valid. That means number followed by 0x. Any number followed with 0x is considered as hexadecimal number. See, hexadecimal means what? We will consider 0 to 15, and after that, after 15, it becomes A to F, then it becomes, that means 0 to 9, and then A to F, then we will write 10. That means 6 more digits will be added. Who don't know hexadecimal, you please remember 0 to 9, and then A to F, then 10, 11, 12. Like that the numbers will be. So when you are representing that, it should start with 0x. I think it's clear. How to name that? Just remember, if I type 06, what type of number it is? See, you can type in chat box. It is very much needed to know that whether you are understanding or not. Whenever I'll ask the question, you immediately reply that. Finally, I'll collect all these. Okay, so who are more interactive, they suitably rewarded. Okay, so if I mention 06, what type of number it is? Is it hexadecimal or octal? How to differentiate? That is what the question. So if I make it 06, definitely it indicates it is octal. Very good. It is octal. If I start with 0x and then A, so this indicates it is hexadecimal. Now, one more question just I'll ask. What is default package in Java? Default package in Java. That means if you are not mentioning anything, no, object is default class. Very good, Tanuja. And it is object is default class. Very good. But yes, default package in Java is very good. It is java.lang. So java.lang is default package which is available. So please remember this. Java.lang is default package and object is default class. Okay, now we are into the numbers. I think you understood how to represent octal, how to represent hexadecimal, how to represent binary. Now, along with that, see, whenever you are declaring a variable, you are declaring like this: byte b, short c, int d, long e, like that you are mentioning. Okay, so you are mentioning the variables like this. So you may get the question like, is it possible, like I'm having the integer value 34, is it possible to make it to the byte b? B is equal to 34 because b is declared as a byte. Definitely, unless like you know the width of the byte is 8 bit. Okay, if it accommodate in 8 bit, it will be considered. Otherwise, it will truncate. That's all. Okay, you can assign byte value to short, short values to integer, integer value to long. Okay, so it is normal representation, but speciality is lang. How you are indicating for the compiler, it is long number. So it is like this. Whenever you are using long, along with the number, you give L. That means I wanted to consider this 34 as long number. How to make it? You write L. Small l or capital L? L explicitly indicates that this number is long number. Okay, so this is another information which you should know. Whenever you are representing long, you have to write L along with that. See, 1996 L indicates that this is assigned to long. Integer, it is not needed, but when you are representing the same number as long, you have to add L along with that. This is another information which is required. Now, after that, we'll move to floating point literals. Another story why that particular number is called floating point number, because float indicates what? See, floating point number, the name is given because of that dot what we are representing. Because we know that, see, it is a 45, and if I write that as 4.5, let us take 456, 4.5 or 45.6 or 456.0 or 0.456. See, this dot is floating. It is floating, and according to the its flow, then value will change. 0.456, 4.5, see 45.6. That's why it is called floating point. Okay. Now, there are two types. Standard notation, 4.6, 5.6, what I written. It is standard notation. Along with that, we are also having scientific notation. How to represent that? That I'll show you. See, normal representation is like double, my double, one variable. I will assign that as 3.4. Float, my float is equal to 3.4. Anyway, here just I wanted to mention one more information. By default, okay, by default, if I write 4.6, it is considered as double. How to consider this by default, that I'll tell you later, but please remember, by default the number will be double. That means floating point number will be double, not float. Don't worry about integer. Floating point numbers will be by default double, not float. Okay, if I write anything like 3.4, it is definitely a double number. But if you wanted to tell that no, it is not double, it is floating, then what you have to do? You have to write f along with the number. How? If I write 3.4, it will be double. I wanted to make it float. How? You write small f or capital F at the end, which explicitly indicates that it is float. Next, scientific notation. What is scientific notation? This is what standard. When you are representing a number like a normal floating point number, it is called standard notation. Scientific notation means when you are writing along with E, that means 3E12, 3E2. That means 3 into 10 to the power of 2. 300, I will represent like this, 3E2 or 3E minus 2. That means 0.03. The numbers represented in scientific notation. See the example. See, this is what the number 3.445 into 100, that is 10 to the power of 2. And when you are making this, the value is 344.5, something like that. Is it not? When you are representing that, you can represent like this 3.445 E2. The meaning is 3.445 into 10 to the power of 2. That you can write that as a double number. If you are writing that as a floating point number, just write f to this. So this is how floating point literally how to represent. That is what we are discussing. We already discussed integer literals, and now we are discussing floating point literals. Next, we'll also see Boolean literals. Boolean, how to represent Boolean? Just write Boolean, and it is either false or true. Please remember, Boolean is a logical literal which use only these two variables. That means either true or false. And please remember, in our literal, true means it is not equal to 1, nor does The false literal equal to 0. Because we are very much familiar about C, I already told this particular uh, example. If condition with that I showed, false is never equal to 0, true is never equal to 1 in Java. You have to write true means true itself, false means false itself. You can't replace. I showed the example like a if condition means if 1, that means if condition returns number. No, it is not in Java. It is not valid in Java. Java takes true or false itself. If true, then only it comes to the loop, not for 1. Please remember, in Java, true means not equal to 1. False means not equal to 0. It is not like that. Okay. Now, and then we'll see character literals. Character, I already told character is 2 byte in Java. That's what the specialty of Java. And why? Because it supports Unicode. See, along with normally character means what actually that is represented. Character means we are always mentioning in single quote. Whatever you are representing inside the single quote, that is considered as character. The example, whatever you write, if you write this number inside single quotes, it is considered as character. Along with that, see other examples like slash n, slash n. Slash n indicates go to next line, line feed. We are feeding the line. System.out.print. Just I'll write SOP. Yes, indicate system out dot print. Let us consider it's not a short form. You can't write like this. Just to indicate this is system.out.print. I just written. So you will write some XYZ, and after that you can give slash n, so that after XYZ definitely it will go to next line because println will do that. Along with that, next extra line. Okay, so that is what the meaning slash n. Like that, we are having backspace, that is slash b. You can give the more space by writing slash t, forum feed slash f, carriage return slash r, and explicitly. See, normally here in double quotes, whatever comes into mind, that will print, is it not? Whatever you write inside the double quotes, that will print. I want double quotes to be printed as it is. How to do that? So use this escape character, then you type double quotes, and after that what you type, that will be printed in double quotes itself. Okay, normally print statement is with double quotes, but inside that I want double quotes as it is, then you can write like this. Like that, for single quote, you want something should be inside and the print as single quote, escape with that single quote. Backslash and to particular slash indicates backslash. See, this is one example like how the character will be represented. You please remember, I also showed this 000A slash u, because character is represented in hexadecimal also. 4 values is used. Instead of slash n, you can write slash u 000A. So that is also represented as this particular value. Okay, now hexadecimal we are representing through character. And then string literals. Next one, literals. You know that whatever comes in double quotes, that is considered as string. Like string is a built-in class in Java. Okay, about that in detail we'll discuss later. But please remember, normally string means array of character. Like that we'll define. In Java, it is specific. It is one particular class. See, you can directly write like this. It is not necessary to use any character array to represent the string, because string is a built-in class available in Java language package. See, string s is equal to, like that you can write. So hello is a value given to this s. S is of type string. So this is what string literal. no longer string is defined. You can't tell what is string in Java. String is a built-in class in Java, which is available in language package. Like that, you have to tell. You should not tell it is array of character or something like that. Think it's clear about string literals. See all this, how you can use double quotes explicitly using backslash and tab. You can write slash n. You can write. Okay, so this available in string literals. Now, after discussing these various types of literals, we'll discuss more detail about variables. Even though you know variable, I already told many times. Variable means it starts with the letter followed by letter or digit. And declaring a variable, how to declare a variable? See, this is how you can declare a variable, because you know that int a comma b comma c, you can write like this, and you can write assign like this: int d is equal to 0, and e I don't want to assign, f I will assign like that, byte b is equal to 22. Like that, various ways you can assign the particular variable. That is first thing. Next, dynamic initialization, another concept which comes with the variable. See, whenever you are computing, you may not be knowing. Uh, see, just the example you look into. What is the meaning of dynamic initialization? See, we return double a is equal to 3, b is equal to 5. I will compute a square plus b square. How to represent a square? A multiply, this is multiply symbol, a star a plus b star b. 3 into 3.1, 3.0 into 3.0 plus b, that is 5.0 into 5.0. Now that is computed. And where to assign this? I'll assign that to the variable c, because I know that after computation I'll get the result of type double. See, this is what, after computation result is not of type float, it is of type double by default. So you have to catch this to the variable of type double. Double ge assign ಮಾಡಿ. Now see, now this when you are declared double a b ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಮ ಸಿ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಿತ್ತು. ಡಬಲ್ ಎ ಕಾಮ ಬಿ ಕಾಮ ಸಿ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಿತ್ತು, ಬಟ್ ವಿ ನಾಟ್ ಡಿಡ್. ಅಂಡ್ ವೆನ್ ಎವರ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟಿಂಗ್ ದೇರ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ದ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಜಾವಾ. Okay, so that is what dynamically you will decide. Oh, now I want to define this. ಅಲ್ಲೇ ನೀವು ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು. So that is what dynamic initialization. You can use this the declaration whenever you want. Next, scope and lifetime of a variable. This is another important concept. ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಿಗೂ ಸೂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಜಾವಾ some more advantage. That advantage what I highlighted here, because you can declare the variable whenever you want. ಈಗ scope and lifetime, local and global. In every language we are having this particular scope, local and global. In Java, how it works, we'll see. One example, same on the class ide, and inside that public static void main we return. Okay, don't worry about this. This you already know. Writing a class, and inside that public static void main ಅದನ್ನು ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅದನ್ನು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. So inside that what is happening, that we will see. See, we declared one variable n is equal to 10 ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ. Now if n is equal to 10, it will come into this block. ಇದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Inside that you return n2 is equal to 20. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಯು ಆರ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸಿಂಗ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಪ್ರಿಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಡಾಟ್ ಔಟ್ ಡಾಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಎನ್ ಅಂಡ್ n2. ಅಂಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿಫೈನ್ಡ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್, this also valid inside this block, and n2 is defined inside this block itself, that also valid inside this. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ if I write, if I print n1 and n2, both will display. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, n1 ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ 10 ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, n2 ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ 20, it will display. ಈಗ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಇಂದ ಹೊರಗೆ ಬನ್ನಿ. I will come out of this block. Inside this block, out of this block, but inside main itself. Illi, if I give system.out.print n1, you will get the output 10, because N1 is holds good here also because it is defined outside. It is not inside main, and whatever you type, it will come. But if you go to print N2, then compiler generates error because it is out of scope, because it is defined inside the block. Block ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅದು valid. Okay. See one more example. Just I'll show you. See, you have written one for loop. For loop for, let us consider I is equal to 0. Okay. Some particular loop. Inside this, okay, we'll close this. Anyway, for loop syntax. Inside that, I'll assign y is equal to 0. And after that, I'll print system.out.print y. And after that, I'll make y is equal to 100. And after that, I'll print that also. System.out.print. ನಿಮಗೆ ಅದು ಬಾಯಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಬೇಕು. SOP system.out.print public static void main. Repeatedly I'm using. You see this inside for loop. ಇದು for loop ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವುದು I is equal to 0, x is less than, or I is less than 10 or something like that. I return. ಇದು ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸಲ ಇಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. But inside that, you just observe, I declared int y is equal to 0. I am printing that. And see, I will declare inside this itself. It's not globally written. Int y equals 0. And I am printing that. And after that, I am making y is equal to 100. And I am printing that. And next iteration, once again, it is initialized as 0. And you'll get 0, 100, 0, 100, 0, 100, like that. So that is what the scope. Inside this, you'll get the same scope. But if I print SOP system.out.print y outside this block, it is invalid because its scope is limited to this block. That's what the meaning, scope and lifetime of variable. Now, just I wanted to conclude this with two important information. See this, I'll declare number is equal to 100. I told that whenever you want, you can declare. Okay, whether is it valid, number is equal to 100, and after that I'll declare int is num. Is it valid? You have observed. See, I'll define number is equal to 100, and after that, what is number, I'll write. Is it valid? Yes or no? Because normally we will define the variable and after that we are using, but in Java, do you have like this? No, definitely it is an error. It is an error. Is it clear? Now, another example. See this, class A, public static void main. I defined int x equals 1. And after that, I am writing separate block. See, two blocks, separate block. There, once again, I'll declare int x equals 2. Is it valid? Very important question. Is it valid? Because uh, two variables we return. Is it valid? Okay. See, in C, it is definitely valid. You can write x outside, and what you return here, that you can write, and its scope is inside this block. Once you out of this block, your scope of x is 1 itself. Inside this, it is 2, like that. But in Java, it will not allow duplicate declaration. Very important. You please note, same declaration if you do twice in Java, Java generates compiler error. Okay, you can't write. Anyway, you will not write int x here itself, but inside the block, identify the block, because it supported in languages like C, C++. Okay, outside the block you will declare, but inside that, if you go to declare the same variable, it will trace. It will not allow you to write the same variable once again inside the scope. This is another important information which you should know. So that's what. And today we learned many things. I given an overview of Java libraries in detail. Anyway, we'll discuss. Just it is just a glimpse how Java packages means, and various types of data types in Java, like integer, float, char, string, like that. And we also close look at literals and variables overview also we discussed. Okay, so that's what about today's class. So in next class, very important, we'll deal with some particular typecasting. Anyway, I'll slowly going towards the programming. Once you are familiar about the environment, live demo and live code execution, we'll see. Thank you. Put your attendance and log out. Thank you.